Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie that's been out for quite a while now, but I'm just now around getting to it, and that is the crime true story drama Just Mercy. Now with Just Mercy, it was one of those things where I didn't get around to it because it was at the beginning of 2020 where all the Oscar favorites were coming out and a bunch of end-of-year movies. And it just got to the point where it just kind of fell through the cracks. It was a movie that I saw the trailers of that looked really appealing to me because it's got a great cast with Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Foxx, and Brie Larson. But just when it came time to it, there was just too many movies to watch, and I just didn't get around to it. But recently, obviously, because of what's been going on in the world, Just Mercy became free on Amazon Prime. So I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and give this one a watch because it probably deserves at least a one view from me. And I went ahead and did that, and here comes the review. So Just Mercy, the main plot of Just Mercy is it's based on the true story of Walter McMillian, who, with the help of young defense attorney Bryan Stevenson, appeals his murder conviction where he is put on death row. And that's basically the plot of this, and it has to do a lot about, obviously, the social injustice that African Americans are treated in the South in Alabama in the late 80s, 90s. And I mean, yes, it still goes on to this day. But that's what the story is mainly about. In terms of the characters, Jamie Foxx is a phenomenal actor. I mean, he obviously won an Oscar for Ray, and I think his performance in the movie Collateral is probably one of my favorite performances of Jamie Foxx. So he always knows how to bring his A game. And in this film, as Walter McMillian, a.k.a. Johnny D, I think Jamie Foxx puts on another stellar performance through this as a man who has kind of just given up hope of ever having someone really listen to him and get him his proper day in court, and that he's just kind of taken in himself that he is going to be killed for a crime he did not commit. And I think Jamie Foxx does a fantastic job portraying this as Walter McMillian, also making himself look just like the real life Walter McMillian. If you actually see these guys in a side-by-side photo, they made Jamie Foxx look really close to the actual real life Walter McMillian. Michael B. Jordan as Bryan Stevenson. Michael B. Jordan is hands down one of the best actors working today, him and Jamie Foxx as well. Michael B. Jordan, he came in and doing things like Friday Night Lights, the TV show, and Chronicle. I loved him in Chronicle. Not a lot of people have seen that movie, but that was really the first real big movie for Michael B. Jordan that people kind of took notice. And they had, Fruitvale Station, which was his kind of big coming out performance. And then, obviously Killmonger, Black Panther, and Creed. This guy can literally do no wrong, and anything that Michael B. Jordan is in, I'm definitely going to give a watch to because he's becoming quickly one of my favorite actors in the industry today. Brie Larson, she plays Eva Ansley. She's basically the person who brings Bryan Stevenson down to Alabama to try and help get these inmates off of death row who were wrongly convicted. Brie Larson, I know a lot of people are just going to know her from Captain America. I mean, but she won an Oscar for her performance in The Room. She knows how to do dramatic roles. She's basically kind of playing, I don't want to say she's playing the exact same role because obviously this is a true story, but if anyone who's seen the movie A Time to Kill, she's got a very kind of Sandra Bullock kind of performance in her in this. She doesn't take as big as the spotlight in this movie as Sandra Bullock does in A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey. But I feel like her performance is very strong. She's got the dramatic performance. She's got the smart aleck comedy in this as well, which Brie Larson, I think, does incredibly well in her performance. She always has that kind of snarky smirk and smack talk that I've always liked out of her performances. And I think all three of these performers put on a really great film overall. Also, Rafe Spall, he plays Tommy Chapman, who's the prosecutor in the case. And I feel bad for Rafe Spall. The guy is a really good actor, but he always plays the asshole in the movie or the bad guy or the guy you're not supposed to like. I would really like to see Rafe Spall be in a movie where you're actually supposed to like him because he's a really good actor. And it would be nice for us to finally give Rafe Spall a chance to be likable in a movie. But I think he does a great job. Also, in a very, very small role, O'Shea Jackson Jr. plays Anthony Ray Hinton. He's Johnny D or Walter's cellmate or next door cellmate, neighbor, however you want to call that. But yeah, those are basically the main acting performances. I think everyone does a stellar job across the board. Oh, I almost forgot, in a phenomenal performance. And I think for supporting actor, which I don't think Just Mercy is going to count towards this upcoming Oscars because it did, I think, go more towards last year's. But Tim Blake Nelson as Ralph Meyers. I think Tim Blake Nelson is one of those quiet, amazing actors that everyone's going to recognize him as like, oh, you're that guy. But he easily puts on some of the best performances in every movie he's in. And I feel like his resume is just growing and growing, that eventually someone's going to have to kind of give him a starring role and kind of put him in the forefront. Because I think Tim Blake Nelson is really kind of one of these hidden gems that people find in movies. And he put on a fantastic performance in this, and I almost forgot about him, which would have really made me mad had I finished this review without mentioning Tim Blake Nelson's performance in this film. The movie itself is incredibly well done, to the point where it's incredibly frustrating and maddening to see how these things happened and what happened to these characters and how they had to go through all these whole hoops and stuff to just get this wrongfully convicted man off of death row. And it's troubling to know that this is how some of the courts and police and stuff work. And yes, we know in terms of today's climate that stuff is still going on today, and it's incredibly disappointing. I know there's a better word than that, but it's frustrating to watch these characters who are real life characters go through this. And I'm sure this is just one story out of thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are going through the same thing. But I only have this movie to go off of. And it makes you even go even madder knowing that some of these people who did this stuff to Walter McMillian still kept their jobs for 30 plus more years, and they never got any repercussions done to them. And that stuff's the true injustice of this film. Well, yes, this story is about getting Walter McMillian off of death row. It really puts a spotlight on the awfulness of how the court systems and the whole law system in general in certain areas and certain towns and cities throughout the U.S. are so poorly done and racially profiled, to the point that sometimes you're just arrested because you look like someone who would do this instead of being the actual person who did this crime. And it's heartbreaking to see that people have to go through this, mostly African Americans, but a lot of people in this overall. So going to overall recommendations, if you're looking for a strong, dramatic court film where you're seeing injustice finally kind of be fixed in a sense, then Just Mercy is definitely going to right up your alley. If you're a fan of any of these performances, whether it be Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, Brie Larson, Rafe Spall, Tim Blake Nelson, I definitely recommend this film because I think you guys will really enjoy the performances and the story that's being told throughout it. If you're a fan of a film like Time to Kill or Lincoln Lawyer, any of those kind of court dramas, I think you guys would like Just Mercy as well. So I strongly recommend this film. Going to my review score, I'm going to give Just Mercy an 8.8 out of 10. Definitely think you guys should check it out right now because it is free on Amazon Prime. If you guys have not seen it before, definitely go out of your way to check out this film. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we have another Amazon film. It's kind of a quieter movie that kind of has been rising up the Rotten Tomato scores, and that is The Vast of Night. It's a 1950s kind of alien film, so be on the lookout for that. And then we also got the other Amazon film, 7500 or 7500, which is the airplane hijacking film starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So be on the lookout for both those reviews. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.